Hello everyone, this is Saad. I hope you had a wonderful year. As you can guys see, I failed my 2025 challenge unfortunately, which is trying to finish 100 games. I ended up finishing around 46 games. There's a few that I've finished offline. And basically I only have 60 seconds to review the game, and there's only three measurements I can use, which is the graphics, which is basically the optimization in the game, and the visual fidelity obviously. And second thing, the story. We gotta make sure the story script is really good. It has a good ending. It has a good, build up to the story. It's not too long, too short, or too boring. And last thing, which is gameplay, which is basically it's just the gameplay mechanics. It could be a lot of things, depends on the game. It's a very wide variety. So like I said, I only have 60 seconds per game. Otherwise, it's gonna be a really long video. I have 46 games that I'm gonna review. This is the tier list. This is how it works. The scores basically get by three measurements like this. Let me show you. I've built this like 5 minutes ago. And the way it works is that I can slide it from 1 to 10. It gets a certain tier, which is, let's just assume it's A. And then I can go ahead, put it on the tier list. That's just how it goes. Let's go ahead and start. Okay, starting off with GTA 3. When it comes to GTA 3, it's my first game that I started with the challenge, definitive edition. So when it comes to the graphics, I would say it's around pretty good, but it looked a bit cartoonish. So I'm gonna give it around an 8. When it comes to the story, Claude is kind of like Gordon Freeman. He doesn't really talk, but he's very cool as shit. So, I mean, like, he just does things for money, which is kind of odd a bit, but I mean, that's just America in general. I guess that's how they do things. So I'm gonna give it around 6 or maybe 7, just because Claude is awesome. I like him. And when it comes to the gameplay mechanics, this is a very early version. I played the definitive version, so they had a lot of fixes and you can't really shoot while you're standing. So I'll give it around 7, just because you can do a lot of cool stuff in it. So I guess it gets a B tier, though I think it deserves it. So let's go ahead and put GTA 3 on the tier list. Yeah, I think it's this one, right? That's not Vice City. I really hope not. Alright, when it comes to GTA 4, that's a really good game. When it comes to the optimization, I mean, it really sucks a lot on the PC version, but it also ran on an Intel Core Duo with all these like insane physics. So I'll have to give it 6 out of 10. And the main reason why is because I couldn't even finish the last mission because of a stupid script. Just, show you the poor optimization in the game. Regardless, when it comes to the story, I mean, it shows a lot of deep emotions and feelings towards crime. And Nico is probably one of my favorite characters in the game, obviously after CJ. I mean, come on. The gameplay is really fun just because, when you shoot someone, they just sort of like fall in a creepy way, or even when you shoot them, it really adds a lot of funny stuff. And there's nothing to complain when it comes to guns and cars and stuff. So let's go ahead and put the measurement really quick. The graphics are 6 out of 10. The story is 10 out of 10. I mean, there's no doubt. And the gameplay is 9. So it ends around A. So let's go ahead and put it on the tier list. Alright, moving on to CJ, also San Andreas. When it comes to the graphics, they're not really amazing based on 2004, but the amount of details and optimization puts a lot of love to it. Mind you, I was using the definitive version, which I'd just give it 9 out of 10, honestly. When it comes to the story, it's really funny and amazing towards how like CJ flipped his whole life and his family's life, and it contains around like 100 rich main missions. I mean, the game is so iconic. I don't think you can identify anyone like around the street who hasn't played or even heard about it. When it comes to the gameplay, like, it's super fun. The cars, the guns, the way every mission has its own like unique style. I mean, come on, this game is just perfection. So yeah, the graphics get out of 9, story gets 10, and gameplay gets out of 10. I'll give this one an S tier just because I think it deserves an S tier. Anything that's 9.5 and over is a definite S tier for me. So it's definitely gonna get an S tier. Let's go ahead and get it there. There we go. There's the first S tier game. I think it deserves it. Very sure a lot of people can agree as well. Alright, Black Mesa. Well, let's go. So I'm a big fan of Half-Life, so very biased review incoming. When it comes to graphics and optimization, it's definitely a 10 out of 10. The game sort of like designed RTX before RTX was even cool and pushed the source engine to its absolute limits while also keeping optimization. When it comes to the story, also 10 out of 10. It's based on the original Half-Life, so it's just as awesome. But they've designed a lot of new puzzles and tricks that you can interact with. Sort of shows how Half-Life would look like if it was designed around the late 2010 era. When it comes to the gameplay, it managed to get the same good feelings of guns and the long jump jetpack. It's really the best way to experience the story if you don't want to look at poor, old graphics. So yeah, this one gets basically 10 out of 10 out of all these things. I mean, yeah, call it biased, but I think it deserves it. This game is awesome. So let's go ahead and put it through the tier list. Oh, there it is, my bad. There you go, right next to CJ. I'm sure he'll be proud if he ever managed to play these games. Alright, when it comes to Horizon Forbidden West, I'll give it a 7 out of 10 when it comes to graphics. The graphics, it's really stunning. The cosmetics and robots look even more cooler than New Dawn. But it lacked a lot of optimization problems compared to their old title. I mean, I had to compromise a lot of graphic settings. But I'll give it 10 out of 10 when it comes to the story. It's genuinely gripping and suspenseful. You don't really know what's next, what else you're gonna discover. You're just sort of like as excited as Eloy, really. And I'll give 8 out of 10 when it comes to the gameplay. It's sort of the same as last game, which is kind of fine. I mean, I had nothing wrong with it. It's just that I expected some new stuff. But I guess we got a cool bird, so we get an A tier. So let's go ahead and put her through the tier list. There you go, next to GTA IV, which is completely fair. Alright, another bias review coming. Yakuza 5 Remastered. 10 out of 10 when it comes to graphics and optimization. I mean, the game is really beautiful, and they handfully made a lot of models and textures compared to the original one. As any other Yakuza games, the optimization is really awesome. The story is 10 out of 10 because it's like the longest and most intensive story of any other Yakuza game. It's like combining 4 stories at once while they all stand for each other. You can see a lot of side characters build up while also keeping, the favorite ones like Haruki and Kiryu. When it comes to gameplay, it's 9 out of 10. There's 5 major city districts in this game with a lot of rich side missions, and you can't really miss them, honestly. Not to mention the major gameplay mechanics like rhythm, hunting, sports, racing. The only thing that's lacking is the fighting styles, really. So let's go ahead, and so this easily gets the S tier because it's over 9.5. So let's go ahead and put it in. Kiryu, they look so... I bet they're gonna be really good homies if CJ understood Japanese or Kiryu learned English, which he does a little bit. Good on him, because we don't live in that chicken universe. Alright, when it comes to new Tales from Borderlands, there's a lot of hate towards this game. I'm really glad I go flying through every game I play, because I find a lot of hidden gems, honestly. I'll give it 9 out of 10 when it comes to graphics and optimization. The game still has this funny, cartoony Borderlands art, and it's really beautiful, if not more beautiful than the original game. What pissed me off is, them not giving enough budget to build Fran's mecha and just Weasel from it. Anyway, story, 9 out of 10. It has a lot of funny dialogues. If you really, stop what people say about it and give your own opinion to it, I think it's amazing. It's just not good as the first one, obviously. 7 out of 10 when it comes to gameplay. The quick events are blast. The mini games are just amazing as well. It's just that they designed it to make a free third-person angle, which you can get lost easily, and it happened a lot. They don't give you hints either, so it gets an A tier. There we go. Okay, when it comes to Last of Us Part 1, I'll give it 9 out of 10 when it comes to graphics and optimization. I personally think the PlayStation 3 version already looks as good as the new version. They took it even to a higher level. The visuals are stunning, but very poor optimization. When it comes to the story, it's easily 10 out of 10. It's incredible, and it demonstrates a very realistic scenario where they would use food rations as the new currency. Unfortunately for gameplay, it's 6 out of 10. I love the survivability tactics, but there's something incredibly wrong when it comes to aiming in the game. They used this aim sway system and not recoil, which gives this infinite loop of your hand completely shaking even though you're standing still, and it's really annoying. PlayStation people rely on aim assist, and PC players gets fucked. So it gets onto the A tier. There we go. Okay, Last of Us Part 2. I'll give it 10 out of 10 when it comes to graphics and optimization. Really beautiful graphics, but the optimization is a lot better, so that's good. 10 out of 10 when it comes to the story. They just, like, spilled all the beans, gave all the answers while, giving a new main character. It starts pretty sad, but it gets really better and intensive. I think it's the best ending you could ask for, and it really leaves, something for the future, possibly. When it comes to the gameplay tactics, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Same issue I've talked about. The sway animation, weird stuff. You don't really have Joel anymore, so the stabilization is a lot better for Ellie and Abby. So not complain about too much. So it gives it 9 out of 10. So A tier. Let's go ahead and put her to the A tier next to her sister or herself. Okay, Dynasty Warriors Origins. 6 out of 10 when it comes to graphics and optimization. The game is okay and it surprisingly ran good at the Steam Deck, but the reality is it keeps running less than 30 FPS and I had to use like lossless scaling to do, upscaling and stuff. When it comes to the story, it's 10 out of 10. It's a very complex story system where you can design your own choices and it really matters. Rich cutscenes and stuff. So you can really replay this game a lot, honestly. 8 out of 10 when it comes to the gameplay. It's like, your generic Dynasty Warriors, except with one character, unless you do special where it gives you like the ability to use your companion. It's just I'm so used to playing female characters and Dynasty Warriors, but I don't mind this one. An average score of 8, so let's go ahead and put her to the A tier. There we go. Okay, Metro 2033. 7 out of 10 when it comes to graphics and optimization. I mean, the graphics are bland, but that's what you get from a zombie nuclear apocalypse anyway. 5 out of 10 when it comes to the story. It's really boring and forgettable. It just feels like, I'm here for the shooting only. It's not like there's a big deeper issue. 7 out of 10 when it comes to gameplay. I think it's fine for the most part. Nothing is too annoying about it, but also nothing is, too interesting about it either. You usually would expect a game to have some sort of new abilities to enjoy, but it seems like you only have to worry about, pumping your flashlight and changing the filters of your mask, which is, pretty reasonable. So that gives it a B tier. Put it to the B tier. There we go. Alright, Red Dead Redemption. 9 out of 10 when it comes to graphics and optimization. The game is really good looking, but I think it deserves a little bit more polishing, rather looking like the original PlayStation 3. Considering we have, good graphics and stuff, but the optimization is supreme. There's no doubt. 7 out of 10 when it comes to the story. Gives a lot of deep thoughts of revenge and depths. Delivers pretty well, except the problem when there's a lot of backstory that they could have given us. Same way as GTA 5, which I'm glad they learned from that. Regardless, it was pretty fun, taking a run at the Wild West and take revenge too. 9 out of 10 when it comes to gameplay. The guns feel amazing, and so is the shooting. The horses are awesome. The only downside is the utter waiting of missions opening, which they fixed in GTA. The only way to skip time is through campfires, which they haven't told us. I just saw that through Speedrunner. So we get A tier. There we go. Alright, this one is one of my favorites. High on Life. 9 out of 10 when it comes to graphics and optimization. The game is like both cartoonish and realistic. It's a bit odd, but that's like, majority of the whole game, to be honest, which makes sense. Optimization in this game is pretty well, not too much to complain about. The story is 10 out of 10. Like every part of this game is genuinely funny, which is pretty rare to find games that can achieve that. I really enjoyed my time playing this game, and the story is just as good and unique. 10 out of 10 when it comes to gameplay. I think every weapon has its own special ability, and you can do some mad combos with the weapons. I mean, you can really be crazy good at this game when you do those. You learn like the good combos. Honestly, it's almost like Doom, the recent modern Dooms. And 9 out of 7, so that means it gets the S tier list. So there we go. Next to Kitty, I'm pretty sure he's not freaking out right now. Okay, Emily's Away Street. When it comes to the graphics, it's 9 out of 10. I mean, I love the simulation and the ambience of the humming computers. When it comes to the story, it's 8 out of 10. It gives you simple options on your PFP and your persona. It doesn't really matter, but it just gives you a personal look, which is nice. It can be pretty harsh on you if you make one bad decision, because it just gives you the bad ending immediately. When it comes to the gameplay, it's 6 out of 10 because the game really forces you to use aggressive responses just so they can hide the lack of complexity of the chat sometimes, and it kind of sucks because it can be more fun if you had more options, honestly. So let's go ahead and put it to the B tier. Alright, let's go ahead and put it in the B tier. Alright, Doom Eternal. 10 out of 10 when it comes to graphics and optimization. I'd love to give it 11 out of 10 if I could. I've just never seen games so visually pleasing and super optimized like that. It's just really that good. When it comes to the story, it's 6 out of 10. It just hasn't made sense to me since Doom 2016. I just think it's lack of my own attention. It's also the game really lacking the intensity of the story. And Vega's a cute robot, I guess. When it comes to the gameplay though, it's 10 out of 10. The gameplay is pretty amusing, fast-paced, hard honestly, but that's why we love Doom, and it doesn't really test your skills but your patient level too. I would say every time you die in this game is a 99% skill issue adopt, and you get an A tier. I mean hardly, you go ahead, an A tier. Alright, Gears of War. This one really disappointed me to be honest. 8 out of 10 when it comes to graphics and optimization. It's pretty fine for a 2006 title. Optimization is good. I wouldn't think any more or less out of it. I think the characters kind of have small heads and big bodies like a bunch of dwarfs. When it comes to the story, it's 6 out of 10. Characters really lack personality and the comedy just feels really forced. I can't take it as a serious game or a comedy game either. When it comes to the gameplay, it's 5 out of 10. The missions are pretty repetitive and it feels like a demo for the Xbox 360. The gunfight style is okay, but the maps and missions feels really forced. When it comes to the length, they're just like trying to make it as long as possible. And the end boss was really unbalanced at the end. It was hell. Let's just say that. So it gets a B tier. It's honestly just 2 ticks away from a C tier. I would really put this one on the bottom tier. I would honestly put this into a C tier. I'm surprised it even made it to the B tier, but hey, good on you, Gears of War. Okay, Neon White. 10 out of 10 when it comes to graphics and optimization. The game has a sharp art, animated style, and it's just really beautiful. And the characters are also so adorable. Nothing to complain. Not to mention the optimization is also really awesome. 8 out of 10 when it comes to the story. It's really fun and simple story, but I think you have to work a lot to get the good ending, which is unfair for the normal player. When it comes to the gameplay, it's 10 out of 10. It's super tactical and fun once you get the hang of it. It really gives you this like main character energy. I love the card system where each one gives you like a different ability, so you can really like go crazy style with it. I think it's a really fun game to play, regardless of your skill level. So the game gets 1 tick from S tier, so let's go ahead and put it in there. There we go. Alright, Call of Duty Black Ops 6. 9 out of 10 when it comes to graphics and optimization. I think when it comes to any Call of Duty games, they always nail the optimization and the beauty of the game. I mean, it's really sweet. I just can't give it a full rating because I couldn't really manage to run the game at 60 FPS, even though I was like using the most popular Steam, at least at the release of the game. When it comes to story, 9 out of 10. Like it drops a lot of new characters and funny quirks around them. However, I just don't think it's related to the Black Ops series. It's just a fun sort of DLC experience. 10 out of 10 when it comes to the gameplay. The gunplay and health bars, it really gives this like beautiful Borderlandsy vibe where you feel super powerful. It had some puzzles at the end, which is pretty simple and fun. I think it's really a game for everyone to enjoy. So the game is like also 1 tier away from the S tier. I think it deserves the A tier, honestly. There we go, over the A tier. Alright, Call of Duty Vanguard. 9 out of 10 when it comes to the graphics. I mean, the game shows very modern looks of World War II, and the optimization is a lot beautiful on it, although it can be better. 10 out of 10 when it comes to the story. It builds up like each character, and you get to see everyone's background before, you know, committing to the final mission. It really gives multiple, you know, out view of destructions, how like World War II turned globally, and it's just really a blast, honestly. Also 10 out of 10 when it comes to the gameplay. Like each hero get their own like ability based on, you know, their own profession and background. I love Polina's like, you know, slick mobility and like decoy feature. It's just the game is awesome. It really is. This one easily gets an S tier. I think it deserves it. And there we go. Alright, Herald of Havoc. I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. 7 out of 10 in graphics and optimization. The game used this like very pixelated quick art style, which is really beautiful. But you can tell it was designed with like modern technology, so it kind of gave that future of GTA Definitive Edition. And it took a big pump towards optimization. 8 out of 10 when it comes to the story. I mean, the game had no story to be honest, but I can't blame them. It's just sort of like this simple shooter. It's the same way as like Quake never had any cutscenes or captions. You just like go to the action. When it comes to the gameplay though, it's an easy 10 out of 10. Each and every gun feels super powerful and satisfying to use, while also keeping a really good balance to keep the game like hard. I think the gameplay is really underrated. The game gets an A tier. And off you go. Alright, Life is Strange Double Exposure. Honestly, this should have been like another Vice review, but I couldn't even be able to do that. 8 out of 10 when it comes to the graphics. It's super lovely. I mean, the facial expressions, the details, has so much good stuff, honestly. Only part that lacks is optimization, and that's, you know, when it comes to any Unreal Engine 5 game, honestly. 6 out of 10 when it comes to the story. It just lacked the most important characters like Chloe. Come on, you can't have Maxine without Chloe, come on. Regardless, you can still chat with her on the phone, which is better than nothing. And by that I mean like just pre-made chat. It's not like you can choose. The game left a lot of complicated stuff when it comes to the ending. It's pretty obvious that they'll make sense out of it when it comes to the sequels, but with the amount of disappointed sales, I highly doubt we'll ever see this game again for a while. The game decided to have like 2 worlds where you can phase through them. It's pretty neat, but it's not what we asked for. I think it's nothing like the original experience where you would like manipulate time and go beyond. So the game ended up getting a B tier. I'm not surprised at all. Off you go. Please bring Chloe next time. Alright, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. Not okay when it comes to optimization. I mean, for some reason, every Modern Warfare game comes with better optimization than Black Ops. Not too much to complain about. It's a Call of Duty game, so optimization is okay. 6 out of 10 when it comes to story. The game shows a slow glimpse of a story that was like designed 15 years ago in the original Modern Warfare 2 and 3. Don't really get a happy ending, just sort of like more stalling. 10 out of 10 when it comes to the gameplay. Offers a very like replayable open world mission types where you could replay it with you or your friends. It really makes the game, you know, more fun and personalized in your own way. It's just very delicate for them to put in there. I think the game is actually pretty good. So the game gets an A tier. I think it's alright. I think it deserves an A tier. I definitely enjoyed the game. And off you go. There you go. We have a full layer of A tier games. Alright, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. This game used to have a lot of hate back in the day. 8 out of 10 when it comes to graphics and optimization. The game was released around, you know, the perfect era of game optimization. So it's kind of not fair to give it 8 instead of 9, but I think it can do a lot better when it comes to visuals. When it comes to story, it's 10 out of 10. It shows a very personal, strong message about being a captain and the possible difficult decisions that you have to make, you know, being the captain. It really has a strong ending and definitely not a forgettable one. I also like the cute robot, I forgot his name. 10 out of 10 when it comes to gameplay. I mean, it's genuinely awesome where you can like go in space and hook someone up and just give them like a Hadouken kick. It's just really cool. You don't see that every day. And it easily gets an A tier. It's one take away from S tier. Alright, go ahead. Put it through the A tier. Alright, Mirror's Edge. 10 out of 10 when it comes to graphics optimization. The game really looked up to be so beautiful throughout the years and it still does look a lot more beautiful, honestly. Unfortunately, when it comes to the story, it's 6 out of 10. The ending is like pretty meh. I think it just could have been built better. Think too much of it. Like there's a few tactics in the story that just never made sense to me. But when it comes to the gameplay, it's easily a 10 out of 10. They combined awesome parkour and gunplay at the same time, which is like very neat back in like 2009. So a lot of people would consider this like as a favorite, honestly. I generally can't blame them. So the game also gets an A tier. I think it deserves the A tier. So let's go ahead and... Okay, Batman Arkham Asylum. 7 out of 10 when it comes to graphics. It utilized this like new physics engine back in the day, which was designed for the leaps and other stuff, I guess. It was cool back then, but nothing too impressive. Not to mention the annoying FPS lock that I had to get rid of with like a config. 8 out of 10 when it comes to the story. It's really generic. It's just sort of designed with people that knew most of the lore already. The Joker really clutched out most of it, so it was fun to see him screw you up every like now and then. But the gameplay gets an awful 4 out of 10 because it had some fun puzzles, but it was really repetitive and it's taken a lot longer than it should. I wish the game had more fun stuff to do instead of being like forced to watch the same nightmare like 3 times in a row, which is pretty annoying, honestly. I hated that shit so much. So the game gets a B tier, so there we go. Okay, Devil May Cry 1. This game taught me suffering and brutal gameplay, and I enjoyed every fucking bit of it. 8 out of 10 when it comes to graphics and optimization. I mean, you can't complain too much about a 2001 title when it comes to graphics. I really enjoyed the creepy art style and the OSTs mostly. 8 out of 10 when it comes to the story. I just love Dante. Like, he's a pretty chill dude. He lives up to his dad. He got a babe at the end. Not much else to say about him. 10 out of 10 when it comes to gameplay. As much as I hate how much I suffered through the game, I think it's really fun to play and get around once you know, finally get him. I just never played a Souls game, but I guess that's how it would be like. Honestly, fuck that Nightmare boss. I hate that guy. So this is for you. So the game easily gets an A tier, which I think it deserves it. So I also have like 3 icons of the same thing, so you'll just have to bear with me. Okay, Devil May Cry 2. Graphics 8 out of 10. I didn't notice that much difference when it comes to the original one, but I'm not complaining either, so 7 out of 10 when it comes to story. It's sort of my fault, to be honest, because I kind of chose the Lucia gameplay instead of Dante, which kind of got me even more confused. Like, you're supposed to play the first one as Dante. 10 out of 10 when it comes to the gameplay, because Lucia has like multiple devil triggers where you can make her fly or do something even more crazy. I just think it's super fun to go around, and her combos are pretty fun and easy as well, compared at least to the first one. So yeah, it's definitely enjoyable. There's no complaint about that. So it gets also another A tier, which I don't complain about at all. Alright, Devil May Cry 3. I was forced to play this game on easy just to keep my sanity, I'm not gonna lie. 9 out of 10 when it comes to graphics. The game's budget definitely had a lot more details and visuals, just in general, and I loved every map in the game. 7 out of 10 when it comes to the story. I loved the quirky personality on Dante's part, but the ending left a lot of confusion. Thank God I had someone on stream to guide me through what to do. I mean, otherwise it would have taken a lot more time for me to finish it. 7 out of 10 when it comes to the gameplay, and it also, contributes to the ending puzzles and stuff. Just the gameplay gave 4 styles. I can't remember exactly what they were. Some of them were like Gunslinger and Heavy Melee. I personally just used the first one, which was the most balanced one. And I've seen a lot of people use the first one as well. So yeah, I mean, the story is nice. It's just, it could have been better. That's it. So the game unfortunately gets a B tier. It's one takeaway from A. Alright, Split Fiction. So, 10 out of 10 when it comes to graphics and optimization. The game delivers spectacular performance and optimization when it comes to both medieval and sci-fi. It's just stunning, and it runs really well. It's really rare to see games like these. 2 people being stuck in a chamber, and the only way they can get out of it is just by understanding each one's story better and learning how to get out of it. 10 out of 10 when it comes to gameplay. I think it really depends on who you play with. It happens to be my long good friend, Abdu. He's the person that actually let me play the game with him, so shout out to him. I'll put his channel in the description. There's a lot of mini games. He kicked my ass in everyone, but also really carried me. Shout out to Abdu, you're fucking cool. Thank you for playing. So Split Fiction get easily an S tier. Boom. Alright, Wolfenstein Return to Castle. 7 out of 10 when it comes to the graphics. It stands on the 2001 era, but it kind of looks like the same as Half-Life, which was, released in 1998. Overall, the graphics and map design is okay. The story is 8 out of 10. It's pretty nice, but it kind of lacked a bit of personality in terms of the protagonist. It shows a little bit of atmosphere into Willem. He doesn't really talk, he doesn't do anything, he just looks out there. Glad they changed that throughout the game. When it comes to the gameplay, it's 4 out of 10. Unfortunately, there's a lot of missions I shamelessly had to weasel my way out of it. The stealth mission was probably the most absurd one, where you can't really tell if someone can see you or not. The gameplay mechanics are fine for the most part. It's just that certain mission that really unplayable, sadly, and it makes it unprogressible. So the game gets a B tier, but honestly, I'm gonna have to get this one to the C tier. It's gonna be the first game that I kind of don't agree, because I simply just think the game is really not good. So off you go, C tier. Alright. Wolfenstein New Order. 8 out of 10 when it comes to graphics and optimization. I mean, it looks pretty great, but it's capped at 60, which is bad news for most people, including me. Even the PlayStation 5 version is capped at 60. 10 out of 10 when it comes to story. I mean, this is where William really shines. I just love every part of him, and his heroic ability, and the fact that, he kind of reminds me of Hideo in some instances. 9 out of 10 when it comes to gameplay. Again, the clunkiness just makes it a bit hard, but it's just amazing when it comes to the gunplay and aiming. Just wish the game was higher refresh rate. Could have had more good reviews. And it gets a 9A tier. So let's go ahead and put it through the A tier. Okay, Wolfenstein Old Blood. 8 out of 10 when it comes to graphics. It's basically the same concept of 60 FPS being locked in. 6 out of 10 when it comes to story. It's just going all over the place, and none of it really made sense to me. But there is a lot of interesting characters. 9 out of 10 when it comes to gameplay. It shows a lot of similarities to New Order. It's a beautiful gameplay, honestly. I love the mecha shooting and stuff. It's just pretty cool. So, and it ended up on the B tier list, which, yeah, it could be better. Could have been better. This is their own trial of this game. Alright, Wolfenstein the New Colossus. This is the best Wolfenstein game, honestly. 10 out of 10 when it comes to graphics and optimization. They did deliver amazingly, with them having unlocked FPS finally. Really beautiful graphics and optimization. The fidelity on the guns and maps are just superb. 10 out of 10 when it comes to story. It delivers a lot of crazy twists. and it shows like this neat atmosphere where America lost to Germany in World War II, at least in their own universe. Also, 10 out of 10 when it comes to gameplay. It's just, there's something so freaking cool about shooting people with a goddamn wheelchair. This game really delivers William to be even more of a badass level. It's just that good. It really is that good. It gets 10 on all categories, and it gets the 10 out of 10 S tier. There's Wolfenstein. I guess this is the best game ever. Okay, Lost Record, Bloom and Rage. 8 out of 10 when it comes to graphics. I mean, and most of these games this year, they use Unreal Engine 5, which has a lot of bad optimization. 7 out of 10 when it comes to the story. It's really interesting and wholesome, but it has a lot of gaps, and I can't really tell if it's remained to be answered. Like, when you see in the menu, there's like a sort of placement for Tape 3, but they never released it. So at the time I'm recording this, which is like December of 31, there's nothing yet. So 9 out of 10 when it comes to the gameplay. 3D interactive items that you can just pick it up and interact with, and they have these like noises. I just love it. In the lyrics, how you choosing it to really interact with, it's mostly a blast for the past for kids who lived up to the 90s. Not to mention that the lyrics that you choose actually matters, and it can change a lot from atmosphere. Yeah, it's a pretty good game. So it gets easily an A tier. Go ahead and put it to the A tier. Alright, Hotline Miami 2. 10 out of 10 when it comes to graphics. I mean, the art style is just as good as the first one. There's no doubt about how, you know, nice and detailed, even though with like tiny ass pixels. 7 out of 10 when it comes to story. I think the game has a fundamental story, but just the way it's like randomly presented confused me a lot. Someone who was watching the stream kind of explained it to me, but for the average, you know, player, I don't think it would make any sense out of it. 10 out of 10 when it comes to gameplay. I mean, I love everything. The shooting, the be able to like, you know, blindly shoot someone from afar. It really tests your skills, and you still have fun even though you die like every 2 seconds, honestly. So the game gets a 9, 8 tier rating, which is pretty awesome. I think the game deserves it. So let's go ahead and put it in there. Alright, remember me. 9 out of 10 when it comes to graphics and optimization. Has a really nice futuristic atmosphere. I think it's somewhat accurate to the things we live in, to be honest. But yeah, it stands out of the crowd. 10 out of 10 when it comes to story. The game is genuinely good with a nice twist at the end. It really shows a lot of passion that was, you know, built towards it. When it comes to the gameplay though, it's 7 out of 10. Finding in the game is a bit odd, and they took a really big risk with it. You can sort of build your own combos with it. Really comes with the cost of weird and complicated enemies that you can't really always figure out a way to beat them. So you have to like design your own combos based on the enemy that you currently fight. So it's just a bit odd and a little annoying. But they also give you a pretty powerful stuff as well to compensate. So the game gets an 8.7 tier, so I think it deserves that. I'll put it there. Alright, Doom Dark Ages. 6 out of 10 when it comes to graphics. Compared to their older games, they really screw up the optimization in this one. And it's very crucial considering it's a super fast-paced game. 9 out of 10 when it comes to story. I think it puts a really nice lore to Doom Guy and see how things slowly built up to be what it is. When it comes to the gameplay though, it's an easy 10 out of 10. The Shield Edition in this game changed so many things for the better, and it gives a lot more to parry rather than just try to dodge. It's just so satisfying to kill enemies in the game now, and it stands out to be the best one out of the older ones. Obviously, it's just really good. So this one gets an easy 9 score, which is A tier. Let's go ahead and put it there. Okay, Resident Evil 2 Remastered. 10 out of 10 when it comes to graphics. I mean, the game is beautiful. The optimization is outstanding. It's just the right amount of gross and beautiful. Story 8 out of 10. I personally played Leon. You know, I think it had the more fun line. I don't think there's too much other than knowing the G virus, what causes of it. 7 out of 10 when it comes to gameplay. The random zombies being unavoidable or just like morphing into you makes the game a bit annoying to deal with. Mr. X was definitely the compensation to it. So yeah, I think the game's awesome, honestly. It's just, it could have been better, let's just say that. So the game gets an 8.3, which is an A tier. And here it comes. Alright, Evil West. 5 out of 10 when it comes to graphics. The optimization is really perfect, but the graphics are sort of bland. Really feels like I'm playing a browser game. 6 out of 10 when it comes to story. It's unnecessarily long and it feels like walking on sandpaper. It's really painful to go through. 3 out of 10 when it comes to gameplay. Sadly, the game is like super repetitive and annoying. The bosses are insanely long to beat. Puzzles are also really long and repetitive. I just never waited for a game to finish so bad, honestly. It's very rare for me to hate a game that much. I guess they did a good job at making me hate it. So this game ended up getting a C tier, but honestly I will change it to a D tier because I don't think it deserves it. I really think this game sucks. Yeah, I will have to change that personally. There we go. Evil West is the first game that goes to the D tier. Mindseye. We're gonna get to the nitty gritty on this one. 4 out of 10 when it comes to graphics and optimization. It really feels like a leaked alpha, to be honest. It doesn't even feel anywhere finished. Optimization is non-existent. And the graphics are fine. It's just a bit bland. 7 out of 10 when it comes to story. I think it delivers a pretty nice story overall, and they put a lot of passion towards it, and they delivered a good ending. When it comes to gameplay, it's an easy 2 out of 10. I mean, it's just the open world doesn't even exist, given the fact that they're from GTA developers that would give you the essential idea of doing that. So I think it's a very poor marketing. I think it's pretty obvious that they meant to do that just so they can trick people into doing that. So unfortunately, yeah, that's an easy 2. So this one gets the C tier, which I think it's fine. I mean, I enjoyed the game. I'll be lying if I said I didn't. Put it here. Alright, Vice City. 8 out of 10 when it comes to graphics. I mean, the game is really beautiful, but the cartoonish ray tracing definitive edition didn't really give as much as GTA 3 and San Andreas. 6 out of 10 when it comes to the story. It's okay, but like it just lacks a lot of build up to it. It just feels Tommy Vercetti just got too egotistic and he wanted more control. 6 out of 10 for the gameplay as well, because what bothers me the most about it is just the fact that you cannot really move while scoping on certain weapons like the M4 or the sniper rifle. You know, while GTA SA and GTA 3 on the other hand completely allowed that, they really should have enabled those at least as a quality of life controls to the main game as well. This one gets a B tier, which is, it makes sense. So off you go. Right, Prototype 1. 6 out of 10 when it comes to graphics. The game really liked personality when it comes to the city. Like, yeah, it's New York. It's supposed to be repetitive, bland, and dirty. They could have really polished some things like people actually sitting in the park and stuff. 8 out of 10 when it comes to the story though. I love the edgy vibes to it, like Punisher atmosphere. It has a good twist and good ending. 5 out of 10 when it comes to gameplay. It really feels like you're playing mouse chess the whole time, mostly when you're fighting bosses. Mesa is really built like a paper shed, so you have to run a lot and keep like re-healing yourself to get stuff going. It's a bit annoying to deal with, to be honest. So the game gets a B tier, but at the same time I would put it on the C tier. Fine, you'll be in the B tier. Alright, a story about my uncle. 6 out of 10 when it comes to graphics. I mean, it really uses Unreal Engine 3 and it literally optimizes a single thread, not even a core. Pretty irritating given the fact that I have to restart the game a few times because like there was a lot of stutters on it. 9 out of 10 when it comes to the story. It's very wholesome, very comforting. I think it's more about adventures and proceeding to your own dreams. 10 out of 10 when it comes to gameplay. It's a really fun parkour experience with like the hooks and the big jumps. It shows you how accurate you are and you can really enjoy the game even when you're not good at parkour. I think it's a good head start out of it. The game gets an easy A tier and I think it deserves it, honestly. Alright, Dead Effect. 6 out of 10 when it comes to graphics. I mean, I made a joke about this game being a Unity mobile game. And it actually turns out to be true. The game is literally based on mobile and was ported to PC. Regardless, I think the graphics are fine. Optimization is also perfect on PC. 6 out of 10 when it comes to story. The voice acting is what cuts most of things out. I mean, it's really dog shit. Except the German scientist, which he sort of clutches it. He keeps like the atmosphere intact. 9 out of 10 when it comes to gameplay. I think it really delivers a fun gameplay with nice abilities and weapons. So not much to complain about that. I actually enjoyed it a lot. So the game gets on the B tier. I think it deserves to be on the B tier. I mean, they did a good job on that. Alright, Dead Effect 2. 7 out of 10 when it comes to graphics. It does have the lovely atmosphere of Mass Effect in the second one, and I can't really hate it either. Optimization is just as perfect. In terms of the story, it's 4 out of 10. Till this day, it still hasn't even finished yet. They decided to make a DLC instead before they even finish it. I find it pretty odd. I don't even know if it'll ever get an ending to the story. When it comes to the gameplay, it's 10 out of 10. The game delivers amazing and repetitive shooter style with armor, weapon tiers that you can upgrade throughout the time levels. The same goes with abilities, honestly. You can just grind your ways through the survival missions, and I think that enough is just pretty fun to just do, honestly. I think this game has potential. I just wish they would finish the story, honestly. So the game is on the B tier. Alright, Borderlands 4. When it comes to the graphics optimization, it's 4 out of 10. The game is absolutely turned to dog shit when it comes to optimization. They did a really good job hiding it in the trailer, but the cracks showed. 7 out of 10 when it comes to story. I think it shifted away from being vault hunters to just people stuck on a planet. But at the same time, there's some vault hunters, so I guess that's fair. Gameplay is 10 out of 10. The abilities and gunplay, weapon tiers is just as amazing as they always delivered. That's why Borderlands is always gonna have a special place in my heart, even when it comes to dog shit optimization. So it gets a B tier. I know it's a bit too much, and I enjoyed the game a lot. I'll be lying if I said I didn't put 300 hours, but I had to put so many configs to make that shit work, which for the normal person they shouldn't even do. That's why I had to really make it on the B tier in order to make this fair. So off we go. The final game goes to the B tier. And there it is. It took me 2 days to honestly finish this. I'm not gonna lie. This is a lot of work. But let's go ahead and speak about me quitting or failing the challenge. Let's just say it this way. This year I started off pretty awesome. From April, I kind of got my first job, and that interfered with the whole thing, so I didn't really have a lot of time. It was so much work, and I had to not play for a while just so I can take care of my job. Eventually, I was really feeling like shit. I did not want to play. I did not even want to sign in to Steam. Around June and July, I don't even think I played any games, honestly. When it comes to August, I finished at least like 5 to 10 games. I just wanted to force it. I said if I play like a game every day, I could finish every game in around 2 days. That was like so much stress in my head. I wasn't really feeling good. Overwhelms me from being able to play games all the time. So who knows, maybe I'll give it another try in 2026. And remember, I played a shit ton of mods this year as well. I did not want to include them because a mod doesn't really equal a full game. A DLC doesn't really include a full game either. This year has been quite amazing, I'm not gonna lie. Thank you guys for watching. Seriously, I hope you have a wonderful 2026 year. I don't know what the future will hold us. Let's just enjoy whatever we have left. I love you guys. Stay safe, okay?